All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rob, and we've got Adsey. Adsey, what's going on, man?
Not much, mate. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. Fucking back for the horror sequels. We're doing horror sequels, part twos. We want part twos of horrors. Fucking, there's a lot of shit ones, but there's a lot of fantastic ones as well. So this is going to be a good battle, a good fucking draft pick.
Yeah, no, I can't wait, mate. I've got a few goodies here, so.
I've got a few fucking, I got a few rippers installed, and I'm really hoping I fucking win the race, because if you don't win the race on this one, I'm gonna be spewing if you fucking get this one. But let me show you the rules, because there's always fucking rules. The rules are, for the horror sequel rules, monster race for first pick. The movie must be a sequel, a part 2 movie. Don't just pick for votes, pick your personal favorites. Viewers vote for best list in the comments and the poll in the community section on YouTube, which is going very good for our votes. And votes don't get tallied up till the end of the year for the ultimate winner, so they've got the whole year to fucking vote on the thing. I can't fucking vote on the polls. So,
yeah, I had to say it, didn't you?
yeah, so by all means, go for it, because I'm winning a few of them. But at the moment, as the tally goes, as the tally goes at the moment, it's fucking it's good. It's going up and down. So there was one that I was kicking your ass in, and you're fucking making a comeback on. So that's what's brilliant about it. People don't see the tallies, but you got to watch the show as well. All right, so we've got a monster race, man. 15
Let's go,
seconds.
mate.
15 seconds. Ready to roll? Ready to roll,
Yeah.
Megatron? You got Megatron.
Yeah, let's go, mate.
It's on. Oh, fucking Megatron's killing it.
Nah.
Got the fucking robot from RoboCop.
Something will done it. Nah, here comes the freaking dinosaur.
No, you killed it.
Sweet as.
Easy, man. Fucking, that's from RoboCop, wasn't it?
And yeah, it's the Ed 209, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was the fucking prick from RoboCop.
Yeah.
Right, let's get into it. Let's fucking not beat around the bush. Let's eat around the bush. Fucking, what is your number one? What is your number one, number two?
My number one, number two has to be James Cameron's Aliens. I think that this is not just one of the greatest sequels of all time. I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I think it just, it's like there's a hair in it with it pipping the original. The original pipping it to the post. But like, it depends on what day I'm watching it. You know, it could be a different day. I'll be watching 1 and 2, and I like 2 better than 1. You know, so. But 2's more action orientated, and and it's just completely different, which I love from the original. You know, it's obviously still got the aliens, it's still got Ripley, but you've got the likes of Michael Biehn. You know, you've got Bill Paxton. You know, game over, man. And you've got and Ripley's way more like badass in it, like and it's kind of like a war film as well, you know, and you know, with a bunch of soldiers and fighting, you know, a bunch of aliens instead of just one this time. So it's really, really good, and some of the action sequences still haven't been topped, in my opinion, you know, and the whole last half an hour of the film, you're just like. You're like this. You're literally on the edge of your seat. So, yeah, that's easily my number one fave.
Talk about character development. Fucking Sigourney Weaver's character develops so much from part 1, from her fear and confusion and everything of learning about what this is. And then when it happens to her all over again, she's ready this time. And but the horror elements of this movie as well. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
you can't get enough of some of the kills in this one.
Yeah, and you know, especially the kill in the ship. And it's not just about gore; it's just about you know, the suspense. You know, and like this film's got the lot for me. It's got the action, it's got the suspense. You know, and I wish James Cameron would go back to these sorts of films. instead of doing freaking Avatar 6, you know. But, you know, what are we going to do?
Yeah, well, we won't talk about it. We'll talk about Avatar in another episode, but but James Cameron, hands down, good number one pick. You're a real.
That is a hands down brilliant number one. I salute you.
Thanks, mate.
He's being nice today, isn't he? He's being nice
He
today.
is. Yeah,
I've
no,
told
he's
him.
not.
No, he's not. You wait for it later on. You'll fucking cop it from him.
But he's put me in a false security, mate.
Yeah. My number one is from 1987. Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn.
Very nice.
I watched this again the other night. This is fantastic. It still spins me out and makes me laugh because a lot of people say that this is a reboot, but then a lot of people do say, no, it's a direct sequel. He didn't remember that he went to the cabin in the first one and that the bridge was broken and he's come back with his girlfriend this time instead of a bunch of mates. It's hard to say, but it's definitely not a reboot, Evil Dead 2. It's definitely he's forgotten what's happened, or he's just put it out of his mind. I love it. He's come back to the cabin with his girlfriend, gets into it straight away. Gets into it straight away. A lot of rinse and repeat stuff from number one, but once again, they put the money behind this one. They fucking the girl with no head dancing around in a circle with a chainsaw.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
Wouldn't ask for anything more from fucking. And the ending of this, now I don't want to spoil it if people haven't seen it, but I'm sure everyone's seen number 3 and knows what number 3 is about. I love the ending of this. I love the chainsaw getting put on the hand. There's so many elements, and it's cool that in this one, when Bruce Campbell gets possessed, so it's inside him in this one. So he has forgotten from number 1 what's happened. This is brilliant. This time, the Deadites get inside him. This is why he has to chop off his hand to get it out of his fucking body, out of his system. It just looks so cool when he wakes up in that puddle of mud and his face is all... He's turning into one of them. He fights it. He's the man. Ash is the man. He gets it out of him. Evil Dead 2, man. Come on.
Oh, I mean, like, talk about a film that's got the lot. You know, like, it's absolutely hilarious as well. You know, and it has the all-time line Groovy in it.
Groovy.
And Bruce Campbell's performance in this, you know, because it's mainly about him. He is absolutely phenomenal in this film, and there's some gore in it that is so good. You know, like you think the first one's gory, and then this one is just as gory, but it's also hilarious and. And I love the ending as well. And,
ending brilliant. A lot of people like number 2 better than number 1. I still like number 1 better. Number 1 is one of my favorite horrors of all time. But the tree almost roots her in the second one, but the tree almost fucking roots another one, but he doesn't fucking get it in there this time.
Almost. But, that's a great choice, mate.
Nah, good number 1 for me there. I'm happy with my number 1 there, but you did get a banger. Because who doesn't like a bit of cigars? Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah. But I got to go for my number 2. I'm going to go The Devil's Rejects.
This is one of the...
It's one of my favourite films of all time.
It was on my list. I didn't think you were going to fucking get it so early.
Oh, shit, yeah. I'm not saving that for you.
Yeah.
No, with this one, like, I wasn't expecting much because I'd seen Corpses, the first one, and I thought, you know, it was good, you know, and I love the Firefly family. And those 3 characters, they're fucking awesome. And with this one, I was thinking, it'll be, you know, be a bit of fun and all that. This film is fucking horrific. And it's like, and William Forsythe, as he's another baddie, but he's a baddie in a different way. Like, he's going after the family. He's a copper
Yep.
in it, and his performance is absolutely fantastic. And he's really going because he was in a lot of 80s films and a lot of old school films, and like old Steven Seagal films as the baddie. But in this one, he just amps it up another level with his acting. But you think of the three of them; they are all great in it. You know, as Baby, Captain Spaulding, you know, Sid Haig, obviously, rest in peace, Sid. And but especially Bill Moseley, he is fucking scary in this film. I just love it, and it's like a road movie mixed with a like a serial killer sort of film mixed with a comedy because it's fucking hilarious in parts. But yeah, I adore this movie. I do honestly think it's one of the best horror films or horror thriller films ever made. So yeah,
100%. Sherry Moon's performance in this is fucking outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Not only does she have like the sexual appeal, but it's also the scary sexual appeal that makes you go, fucking, she can stab me if she wants. But then when she does do her fucking killings that she does do, you go, maybe I don't want to be fucking stabbed by her because she's a fucking psycho. So it has got everything, and it actually has a good story too. Let's actually not forget that. We don't want to just choose horror movies number twos because of the gore or anything like that. We like a good story, and just like Aliens, it's got a good story because it's continuing, and we want something that continues from part one. That is fantastic. Evil Dead 2, it continues from part one. Yes, he doesn't remember that he's been there, but it's continued. This one is a great continuance from fucking House of a Thousand Corpses. It's just, and even the next one. So that's what we love with sequels. We want a good sequel that follows the story, and this has a good script and it follows the story perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching all three. So you've got House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and Three from Hell. So I would watch them all together because you'll have an absolute ball. But no. What's your number two, buddy boy?
My number two is the very first, and I don't know if this is official, if this was the very first horror sequel that was ever made, but I think it is the very first horror sequel that was ever made. I love all the Frankenstein movies. So I've got The Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. This is brilliant. I brought not long ago the box set of the 6 original Frankenstein movies. This is great because one of my favorite films is the original Frankenstein movie. I love it. I love the story. I love everything about it. And this is a great follow-up, a great part 2. And am I wrong? Is this the first ever horror sequel?
Right. It sounds right because I watched Frankenstein. I got the Universal collection box set. And I'm pretty sure Frankenstein was a 30. So I mean,
yes.
I mean, if it isn't, it's it's very, very close. So yeah,
I think it was 34, and this was 35. So they did it straight up, and but this is great because everyone thinks Frankenstein's dead, Frankenstein's alive, and the monster is alive. Everyone thinks Frankenstein is the monster. No, Frankenstein's the doctor. The monster is alive, and Frankenstein, then Dr. Frankenstein, makes a girl. Funny thing about this with The Bride of Frankenstein is it's only the last 20 minutes, really, we get The Bride of Frankenstein. It's very funny when you watch it. It's still really all about Dr. Frankenstein, this movie. This is not gore. This is not heaps of kills and all that. It's not full-on horror, but this is horror movie still. It's one of the originals. The last 20 minutes is basically your Bride of Frankenstein. But like I said, this is based still all around the monster still being alive and Dr. Frankenstein being crazy. He's fucked in the head. And it's got a good ending to it too. If you haven't seen this, I don't want to ruin the ending, but Monster, the original Monster, he's not very happy with his bride because she doesn't fucking like him.
If I remember rightly, doesn't he kill her?
It's basically you think both of them die at the end again, but of course the monster, he survives, so she fucking dead. But yeah, correct, because she doesn't want to fucking be there. She doesn't want to. She's like, what the? I thought it was good. I thought it was a good movie. This is actually still one of my favorites as well. One of my favorite sequels, and that's why I've chucked it as number 2, man. I don't know how long ago you watched it, but
oh wow, yeah, I've seen the original before. Of last couple of years, but and I'm pretty sure the original is the one where that scene where he throws the kid in the water. Yeah. Oh, that is brilliant. And I've seen number 2 because I went on a whole binge. I just can't really. I can place bits of it. I just can't place the whole entire plot. But
everyone will fucking tuck on and watch all the time.
I remember really liking it though, and how can you go wrong with Frankenstein, mate? He's such a good monster. So yeah.
And what I really appreciated about this movie was a lot of actors, especially a lot of the people that were in the mob that were fucking chasing the monster down at the fucking end of the first one. A lot of those, you see a lot of those people, even if they're only in the back. Even if they're only in the back of the fucking movie, you see a lot of those people fucking back again. So you do see a lot of characters back. It's good. It continues the story. Bride of Frankenstein. That's me number 2, man.
That's awesome, man. Great choice. Yeah. My next one. Someone had a problem with it on another channel I was on or used to be on. And I don't know if you will as well. And I find The Quiet Place to be a horror film.
That was on my list.
Yeah. So
nice choice.
Part 2 is absolutely fantastic for me, and I think it's a fantastic sequel to the first because the first really blew me away. You know, you've got that opening scene of the first where you just know you're in for an absolute ride, and this one isn't. I gave the first one a 10. This one's a 9. But I absolutely adore it, and Cillian Murphy in it. He is such a fantastic addition, and his story arc from where he begins, and he's kind of like a bit of a pussy in it. He goes from that to one of the best badass characters, who ends up saving someone. I don't want to spoil this if anyone hasn't seen it, but it's such a good film, and it's only 1 point off for me from the first one. So if you like the first one, you'll definitely like this. And Emily Blunt in it is so good,
Blunt, man.
Yeah, and the 2 kids, they bring it again. So yeah. But wasn't sure if it was a sci-fi or a horror.
It's a horror, 100%. IMDb says it's a horror. IMDb says it's a drama, horror, sci-fi. So it's 100% a horror. It's got monsters in it. It's a fucking horror. Number 1, I gave it 8, and this one I actually gave it 8 as well. They were both 8s for me. I loved them both, and I'm going to watch both of them again before the third one comes out, even though that's a prequel. But this is. Did you find you had to turn the sound up? It was very quiet.
You're sitting on that one, weren't you, mate?
Yeah, I was. I had this in my list as well. This is great. And Emily Blunt was fucking fantastic. She was very, very, very good in this. So
yeah,
there's a lot of scenes in this as well that can give you. I don't want to say anxiety, but I don't know. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I mean, you can say that for sure. I mean, people suffer from anxiety. I'm one of them, but I think, and I think that's the problem. Like, people are very quick to go, but we suffer from it. And it's like, I could give a fuck. You can say that as talking about something, and
How about the word? 100% agree with you there. How about anxious? Anxious.
Yeah, you get anxious watching this film. Yeah.
Because anxious brings on anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
Anxiety. So we'll say anxious. It makes.
Be careful what you say, Rob. I don't care. You can say whatever you want with me, mate. So yeah.
keyboard warriors are going fucking. I suffer from anxiety, and we all get fucking anxiety. I'm a Dockers fan. I get anxiety every fucking week. God damn it! And I've had anxiety for 30 years. For God's sake.
I'm a North Melbourne supporter.
Oh,
So,
my.
I mean, freaking, you want to talk about anxiety? Jesus Christ, there isn't any because we haven't won a game for about, I don't know, 2 years. But
I've got a helpline that I used to call that I'll give you that we used to need to have a few years ago. But this does cause you make you anxious. So there is some good horror scenes in this that make you anxious, and a good story too. It is a good story.
Definitely, yeah. And that bit on the boat, the bit on the jetty, and with Killian, the young girl, and those idiots, it's fantastic. Yeah,
I don't know that young girl's name. She was very, very good at that. She was very.
I think
very
her
good.
real name's Millie, but I can't remember her name I can't remember her character's name offhand. But yeah,
I don't know
great.
her real name. I think she was a very good actress. So that was your number 3, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to kill me for picking this next one, I think. I think you were saving it thinking I wasn't going to pick it, but this is from 1983. It's 22 years after the first movie came out, and we're doing Psycho 2.
Ooh,
Psycho,
I'm going to kill you.
yeah. Psycho 2, Norman Bates gets out of the jail. They say in the movie it's prison, but it's kind of psych prison. But 22 years he only had to do for his first lot of murders, which is a good stint from Norman. I'm sure he's going to behave himself in this movie until females appear, and then he goes all. As soon as he fucking sees a female, he starts getting all fucking jizzy. He starts getting all jizzy in his pants. Meg Tilly as Mary was fantastic in this movie. I didn't realize it was she was one of the Tilly sisters.
Jennifer Tilly, sister.
Tilly's sister. She's so young in this. When I watched it again, I still didn't. I'm like, fuck. She looks familiar. Anyway, this is fantastic. He's trying to reopen the Bates Motel. He's got his life sorted. He knows he's fucked up in the past. But then as soon as fucking Tilly comes along, he gets that little tingle in his Tilly pants, and it all happens again. But this time it's people fucking with him. And I don't want to spoil this because this is a fucking ripper of a horror movie, and it doesn't get talked about. I did a review on it, and it got hardly any views. No one cares about Psycho 2 and 3, but I think they are brilliant because it's a continuation from the story. And to me, a movie needs a good story. Sometimes, there is movies there you don't need a story at all. I can watch a Terrifier movie and you don't need a fucking story for that because I know what I want to see in that. But I do want a story, and this has got a good story, and it's very clever as well because there's people fucking with him.
Vera Miles from the original. The final girl from the original Psycho. She's fucking with him the whole film. And she gets her comeuppance for sure.
Oh yeah. There's a few fucking good fucking kills in this as well, man. And there's some scenes as well. And this is the 80s as well, where you just go, damn, that looks good when he gets the knife through the hand. That looked fucking brilliant. There's some good shit. But Tilly, I thought her performance was great. And Anthony Perkins, he's
out of this world.
he's just too good. He's too good. But that's my next pick. I really want everyone to watch this movie because this is a sequel. And I also reckon that Psycho 2 is one of the first, not one of the first, of course, horror sequels because you got Bride of Frankenstein. But Psycho 2 was one of the first movies that did a sequel like 20 years later, because then you had H2O 20 years later. You had there was a fair few other ones where they were 20 years later.
Yep.
This was one of the first ones that was 20 years later. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And and then you look at the new Halloween, the 2018 that came off.
Yep.
That was like 20 years as well from the
Yep.
thing. So yeah, that was 40 years. Sorry, from
40, yeah.
1978 to. So
Yep.
yeah, it's definitely a trope with the year gap. But
Well,
yeah,
they did it with Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. That was meant to be all number 2, 3, and 4 were non-existent, and then that was meant to be 20 years or 40 years. Same shit.
40 years, I think, with that one. But yeah,
oh, they did the same type of.
But I'm pretty sure that's true. That was the first one to do it with the 20-year thing. Yeah. It's been 20 years since he's been in the hospital, and he's come out, sort of thing. So yeah, but I mean, Psycho 2 is absolutely it's a bull terror of a film, let alone a sequel. It's just it's one of the best, and it was on my fucking list. Motherfucker,
it really is. It really is an underrated fucking movie.
Check out Rob's review on it, 'cause he absolutely nails it. So yeah,
I think it's so underrated. I love it. But anyway, that's my third pick, man.
yeah. And he did number 3. Rob did number 3. So
I did number 3 as well.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah, I've got this one might be a bit out of left field, but I love this movie. I don't care what anyone says, and a lot of people don't. And sort of thing. It's Hannibal, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs.
It's a horror, brother. It's a horror.
Yeah. But it got a lot of flack when it first came out because either people thought it was too gory, it was too over the top. Get fucked. I literally think that, to those critics because, it's fantastic. It's not Silence of the Lambs, but it's just fun. And like you say with the storyline, the story's fantastic in it. Hannibal's just, instead of him being caged up, he's on the loose through the film. And I know a lot of people, and this is a problem that I understand. A lot of people miss Jodie Foster as Clarice, but I thought Julianne Moore was fucking fantastic as the new Clarice, and she nails it. But and you watch this with Silence of the Lambs, you're gonna have a fucking ball, and like. But some of the kills, like people said, oh, it's too gory or whatever. Fuck off. I mean, if you want to go watch fucking not a horror movie, don't watch this then, you idiot. But
exactly.
But there's a kill in it with involving Ray Liotta. That's all I'll say because a lot of people haven't seen it for whatever reason. But it's awesome. And,
is this the kill with the intestines over the building?
That bit's brilliant. No, that's like halfway through. This is the kill involving someone's head.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
And then some cooking goes on. Yeah, but the director of this film, Ridley Scott. So I mean, the director of Alien. So I mean. Just saying, I think this got a lot of bad publicity at the time, and it had no reason to because I think it's an absolute entertaining as fuck film. So that's my 4 rant over.
It's got some fucking absolute brutal bits in it, but I can definitely. I had 10. I picked out 10. And it was in my 10, just in case you took some of my other ones, which you took Devil's Rejects already, you prick.
Sorry. You took freaking Psycho 2.
That's all right, because I'm going to take one that you probably actually forgot about. This one is a 2019 horror sequel, which it is probably about 30 years after the original. Dr. Sleep. I'm going with.
Nah, that was my next. Fuck.
Dr. Sleep. You know what? The first time I watched this, and I'm not going to lie, and this happens with This happens with some movies with some people. First time I watched this, did not like it. Yeah. Did not like it. Maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind. Maybe I was pissed off that they did a sequel to The Shining. Maybe I was just. Not in the mood when I watched it. I could see the good things about it, but maybe I just wasn't. I think I wasn't happy that they did a sequel to The Shining. I watched it again about 6 months ago because I chucked it on binge, and I fucking loved every second of it. Every second of it. I don't know why I didn't like it the first time. I just really don't know why I didn't like it the first time. This is fucking great. McGregor, he was fantastic. They do so many scenes where you're going back to the hotel. The kid is, when that kid is getting brutalized.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah.
Is absolute horrible. Absolute horrible. Actually, now when I think about it, the first time I watched it, maybe I wasn't paying attention and I was probably editing something on my fucking laptop. So there's another reason. So there's another reason why you don't watch movies with fucking phones and laptops when you're fucking watching a movie.
Oh, definitely.
But there's some brutal scenes in it that are just fucked up. And I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but please to God, watch Doctor Sleep. Watch The Shining first, because there are so many things and elements in this movie that fucking just continue on from the first one. It's the best way without giving spoilers from this movie, and I don't mind giving spoilers in movies when we do our picks and all that, but this is one that I really want everyone to watch as well. This is clever. This is the best way to put this movie is fucking clever. It's a clever story. And Stephen King wrote this one as well?
No.
No?
I think it was Mike Flanagan who did Hell on the Hill House one. He's an absolutely fantastic horror guy. And I think The Shining was one of his all-time faves. And and what else? He did that Gerald's Game. He did a lot of Netflix stuff. And and Hush, that film Hush. That. Yeah, he knows his shit, and it's absolutely fantastic. I think Stephen King literally said, "This is fucking fantastic." He saw it and he was like, I think he liked it more than the original Shining. He hates that. So
really,
really, Stephen King hates the movie The Shining. He wrote the book. Yeah, he wrote the book, and he disowned the film because of the book is a lot different than what Kubrick did with the film. You don't know that? Yeah. He literally disowned the film and flat out said, "I fucking hate this." And So a little bit of trivia there for you. Yeah. He hates the movie The Shining, but he apparently loved Doctor Sleep because Doctor Sleep was a lot more to his book than because Stephen King wrote Doctor Sleep, the book, but Mike Flanagan turned it into the film. But sorry, that's probably what you were asking there. And yeah. No, so he wrote the book. So Stephen King wrote The Shining, and he wrote Doctor Sleep. But with The Shining, Kubrick didn't go word for word and took a lot of Stephen King stuff out of it to make the original Shining. Whereas Doctor Sleep is basically almost word for word from his book. So that's why he likes it more. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Absolutely brilliant. And, Stephen King did a fantastic job fucking writing a sequel to that. And Ewan McGregor, I've got to say as well, fucking, to get put into that role, to play that kid now as an adult, man, it's... you could take some flack from that before it's even fucking started filming, you know what I mean? Like, you better do a good fucking performance, and he did. But I still think that kid, man, at the start of playing baseball and walking down the street, his performance.
Well, he's an Oscar-nominated actor. He was in that room where he gets him and his mum get kidnapped.
Yep.
And so he and that whole sequence, it's all about his acting. All right, and. But the one MVP in this film for me is Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat. She is so good in it.
Yeah.
And she's the one who does the deed on the little boy, but she's just fantastic throughout. She owns that film.
She's pretty witchy, isn't she?
Oh, she's great. Yeah. She's absolutely badass in it. But that's such a good pick.
You can see the black magic in her.
Yeah. Looking for the steam. But, that's a fantastic pick. son of a bitch.
So what do you got? Just one left, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to go for an absolute classic. I'm going to go for Halloween 2. Yeah, the original 80s one. And I think this one is brilliant because yeah, it's different from the original. I mean, nothing's going to beat the original for me in terms of horror, but this one does a great job in the hospital, and the kills are much more gorier, which I found really cool. You know,
Yep.
and it's a lot different from the original. And Jamie Lee's fantastic as always.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I like the fact that it's a direct follow up, like literally the same night.
Yep.
Halloween 2 happens, and yeah, I find it absolutely brilliant. You know, and I know it doesn't touch the original, but I like how different it is. You know, and like and Loomis is cool in it again, and yeah, that ending with Michael,
awesome.
yeah, with Michael getting cooked. I thought it was fantastic, and that bit with Ben Tramer where he gets hit by the car and then the car explodes. That was funny as, but it wasn't meant to be funny. But yeah,
I call this. Yeah, it's not meant to be funny. I call this one. Michael goes to hospital. Michael goes to hospital.
Yeah. But I mean, you could call it that. Literally, yeah. Halloween 2, Michael goes to hospital.
Is this the one where the No, it's not. Is this the one with the chick in the hot tub?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That bit's so funny. They're like in the middle of the hospital and she works there, and then they take a bath, and then she gets cooked in the water by Michael.
Yeah. That is a wicked kill. That is an awesome kill. Fuck. I was just trying to think then. I was going, fucking hold on. Is that from number 4 or is that from number 2? Yeah.
It's
in the
number
hospital.
2, yeah.
Because he's a seedy prick, that fucking, that bloke as well.
I know, he's creepy as. Yeah.
He
like,
deserved to get
him
killed.
up. Yeah, they set him up with that scene where he's looking at the TV and talking to the girl, and he's just like, he's the biggest creep of all time. So, yeah, that was awesome.
And she's getting fucked up. She gets fucked up in that hot water.
Shit.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good fucking pick, man. I did have that on my list there as well, and there's a few that fucking are. Now I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 to choose out of.
Yeah.
Will I make a right decision here? Well,
come on, you can do it.
You're probably gonna, after I say my honourable mention of what I didn't pick, and you're gonna go, "Why the fuck didn't you pick that?" But I'm gonna pick this instead because this was a horror movie that I couldn't wait to see the sequel to when it came out, regardless if people think it's better or worse. In 2005, I was looking so forward to Saw 2. Saw 2 was so good, but the way number 1 ended, I was frothing at the bit to see what happened next. I couldn't wait to see more traps. I couldn't wait to see what was next in the story, because it's not all about the traps and the kills in Saw. There is a story as well, and I love the story. That's why I love number 10, Saw X, because it's got such a good story, and that's hey, that's in between fucking part 2 and part 1. It's such a good story. Part 2, man, I tell you what, the scene with the needles.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy, mate. Yeah. And they're all like, you can tell that there's something in the needles as well, and you're like, ah!
The scene with the needles just gets me. But this is great because it just continues on from the first one. Amanda, the character Amanda, is just so good, and who would have thought she plays this dumb chick on Becca. But then she plays this fantastic role in all the Saw movies. And I thought Amanda was just fucking fantastic character, helping fucking Jigsaw all the way through. I think this is my perfect number 5 pick for my sequel movies. Saw 2, I loved everything about it. I love number 1 and I love number 2.
Yeah, absolute cracker of a pick, mate. So yeah. But you've. I don't have any honorable mentions. You picked all.
You don't have any honorable mentions. I'm just gonna. You'll be spewing because you would have picked this in your top 5, and I just chose Saw 2. Just because my wanting of Saw 2 when it came out after the follow-up of the first one, I wanted it more than this other one. But this one you're going to be spewing that you actually forgot about. You forgot about 28 weeks later.
Yeah, I mean, I love the original. I don't like the sequel as much. But, I mean, I like the sequel.
Much.
No, I like the sequel, but it wouldn't have made my list. No, I love Robert Carlyle as well. But, yeah, I need to watch it again. The first time I watched it, I wasn't in the best frame of mind, so I need to check that one out again for sure.
Okay,
but,
nice.
Yeah, it's been a while because I watched that one. I recently watched, in the last few years, I watched the original again and loved it. But I haven't watched 28. I watched that back in the day when it came out. So
I actually like 28 better.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So I'll definitely have. Well, yeah.
I like Weeks better. But I had Critters 2. I loved Critters 2, but that's not going to get any votes. Child's Play 2 is fucking a ripper.
That is, and I forgot about that one. That would have been on the list. Yeah.
I love Child's Play 2. That is just fucking so cool how they at the start and they're scraping the fucking burnt off him and he comes back. I love that. And the other ones really quickly, besides Friday the 13th Part 2, but I've talked about Friday the 13th a bit, Wolf Creek 2, Return of the Living Dead Part 2, and Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. So...
Oh, shit! Yeah, no. Oh, God. Yeah, no.
But you had bangers anyway. They probably wouldn't have really fit in with if we had a perfect top 10. But anyway, I'm going to chuck down below. Well, I'm going to chuck on the screen now all our picks. Hope you remember your picks, Adsey. My picks were Evil Dead 2, Bride of Frankenstein, Psycho 2, Dr. Sleep, and Saw 2. It's a pretty fucking good box set right there if you wanted to buy a fucking sequel box set.
Mm-hmm.
Adsey had Aliens, Devil's Rejects, A Quiet Place 2. I have Hannibal.
Yep. And whatever I said last. Halloween 2.
Halloween 2. I just had a fucking memory blank then.
No, so no, mate. It's all good.
So you've got a fucking banger list there as well, man. So this is going to be a tight one. Fucking very, very tight. There's only one way to separate these two box sets. Bit of fucking lube.
Oh, you're a funny bucket.
Hey, good.
This channel's going fucking downhill.
All right, so subscribe, get on Instagram, Adsey30 on Instagram, Blood Popcorn 1 on Instagram, but make sure you subscribe to this fucking channel or I'm going to find you and snap your fingers. No, Grandpa will.
No, he will.
He will. He probably will, and then fuck your grandma. So... It's been a fun episode. Click thumbs up. Make sure you vote. You can either vote in the comments or vote on the poll when I put the poll up, and you've got all year to vote. Subscribe, do what the fuck you want. Say hi to your mum for us. We'll be back next episode with whatever the fuck we do. Until then, see you.
Catch ya.